So if you're thinking about moving to Miami, Florida, in today's video, I'm going to give you some information about how much it costs to live here, and I'm going to go over some very specific neighborhoods so that you know what to expect. There's a lot of information out there, and sometimes it's really hard to filter through that information and understand the true cost of living and what you get for your money. So I'm going to go over a few neighborhoods and talk a little bit about what you can expect to buy in those neighborhoods. And also, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to talk about one very trendy neighborhood that I think is a very hot neighborhood where you can still find 3 bedrooms for under $1 million. And I'm going to talk about all of this now. Hey everyone, my name is Jamie Pretzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties, and I work with my husband Ogden Pretzi and our team. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another update. We do put out new videos every week. Also, use that little bell and hit the bell so that you get notified as soon as new videos come online. We get emails and calls every single day from people just like you looking to make a move to Miami, Florida. And you can find all of our information in the description box. So if you'd like to call, text, or email, whatever works best for you is fine by us. It really doesn't matter how far out you are. Sometimes people are 30 days, sometimes 90 days, sometimes 6 months. We know that you need to plan. So let's start that conversation now so that you can make a smooth move when it comes to moving to our city. Today, Miami is one of the most expensive cities in the United States. In comparison to some other large international cities around the United States and around the world, some people still find us to be fairly affordable and reasonable, but compared to a lot of other places in the United States, Miami has become very expensive. And so if you're trying to filter through some of this information online, it may not be updated to today's standards. So it's just really important that you know what to expect when you're moving here. A few things that can really contribute to the cost of living is really the location of the building, the age of the building or the property if you're buying a single family home. Also the services and how that building is maintained or has been maintained over the years. Also, property taxes are very important to know about. Insurance is very important to know about. If you need flood insurance, that's important to understand. And also, of course, the maintenance fees or the HOA fees if you're in a single family home. So there's really a lot to sort of budget for in terms of the housing expenses. And that's really what I'm going to talk about today is the housing expenses, because that's what I know best. One of the most popular areas that I think that people are always most interested in buying real estate or moving to is Miami Beach. Miami Beach is a barrier island off the mainland of Miami-Dade County. And I think it's very important to understand that there's so much different types of real estate on Miami Beach. So if you aggregate all of this data together, it can be a little bit confusing. I'm going to give you an average just to kind of give you a general overview about how much it costs to buy real estate on Miami Beach. But just it's important to know there's many different types of properties. For instance, the average non-waterfront property that's listed right now is a 4-bedroom, 4-bath property at around 3,000 square feet. The average listing price is $4.4 million. For waterfront properties, the average price is around $18.9 million, and that's for a 5-bedroom, 5-bath property with 5,500 square feet. Now, it's also important to know there's many tiny little neighborhoods throughout Miami Beach, and some neighborhoods are more expensive than others. For instance, a very popular area of Miami Beach is known as south of 5th. It is just below 5th Street to 1st Street and from the ocean to the bay. This is considered one of the luxury neighborhoods in Miami Beach. The average property that's listed right now that's a 2-2 is around 1,600 square feet, and it's listed for $3.5 million. Now, if you go to South Beach, which is 23rd Street to 1st Street, and you just focus on the low-rise buildings, not the super luxury buildings, the average property that's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath property is listed for $364,000. So obviously, that's a big difference from the $3.5 million in south of 5th. Another neighborhood that's super popular is Miami Shores. Miami Shores is really popular because a lot of the lots in Miami Shores are fairly large. People like, the huge lots when they're buying single family homes. And there's many different types of properties in Miami Shores. Miami Shores is also very close to the city, and it's also very close to the beach. The average property that's listed right now is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, and the average listing price is $1.9 million. Next, and the square footage for that average is 2,200 square feet. The next neighborhood that we should talk about is Brickell. Brickell has mostly high-rise condominiums, and there are many different types of buildings throughout Brickell. So this is an average again, and remember, views can really change the pricing, waterfront, non-waterfront, the services, and the brand of the building, because we have some buildings that have a super high-end luxury brand to them, and that gives an extra value of that gives an extra perception of value, and people pay more for those higher end the luxury brands. So the average condominium in Brickell right now, the average that's listed is a 2.2 for 1,300 square feet, and the average price is $1.2 million. Again, average together, so you could probably find something a little bit less, but just know that and obviously more, but just know that that's the average that's listed right now. Coral Gables is another very popular neighborhood in Miami-Dade County. It is one of Miami's oldest and most distinguished neighborhoods, and it is beautiful. You will find condominiums and single-family homes throughout Coral Gables. The average non-waterfront single-family home that's listed in Coral Gables is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath property at around $3.8 million. The average waterfront property in Coral Gables is a 5-bedroom, 5-bath property at around $11.8 million. Next, South Miami. South Miami is one of my favorite neighborhoods, and that's probably because a lot of my favorite clients live in that neighborhood. I have an affinity to South Miami. It's also a very trendy neighborhood in Miami-Dade County, and it is south of Coral Gables, and it's just a really cute neighborhood. I love South Miami. The average single family home in South Miami is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath property, 2,600 square feet, and the average listing price is $2 million. Next, Coconut Grove, also known as The Grove. It's one of the oldest and most unique neighborhoods in Miami. And also Coconut Grove has a lot of townhomes. So if you are interested in purchasing a townhome, I would definitely make sure that you focus on Coconut Grove, because there's a lot of options there. And The Grove is a really cute neighborhood. It's really nice. And they actually have already renovated this downtown area of Coconut Grove, and it's really nice. So there are single family homes that are listed there right now. A 4-bedroom, 3-bath property for around 2,900 square feet, $3 million. The average 3-bedroom, 3-bath townhome or condominium, 2,200 square feet at $2.9 million. Now, next for the bonus. Now, I want to talk to you about Doral. Doral is west of Miami Beach, and it's on the other side of the airport. And Doral is just, it's awesome. And there's so many reasons why it's awesome. It has this really nice little downtown area that has single family homes, townhomes, and high-rise condominiums. It just is really cute, and there's a lot of restaurants, very good restaurants in Doral, lots of little shopping and dining places. So I really think that right now Doral is value. I think it's a very good neighborhood, very up and coming, and very trendy. It is one of the fastest growing suburbs in Miami-Dade. It's conveniently located 1 mile to the airport and about a 15 to 20 minute drive to the beach. And one great thing about Doral is it's located between 2 major highways, so you can really get everywhere around the city fairly quickly, down south into Kendall, up into Broward, and back to the beach, or downtown or Brickell. So I think Doral is a very good value right now. The average 3-bedroom, 2-bath property, guess what? It's under $1 million at $793,000. So that should give you some information about the true cost of living here. Again, these are averages, but I just think, sometimes people will reach out to me and they'll have a budget in mind and want to move into one neighborhood. And sometimes that neighborhood is just not possible because that neighborhood's too expensive for that budget. So I think you really have to do a bit of planning before you come here and start looking at real estate, so you don't waste your time and you can see what you get for your money. Now, I really want to go back for just a second and talk a little bit about maintenance and HOA fees. Now, you will find most of the HOA fees in the gated communities. There's a lot more gated communities in Broward County, so if that's really important to you, you may want to just look at Broward, because there's a lot of neighborhoods in Broward that are gated, and that's where you'll find a lot of these HOA communities. Also in Doral has a lot of gated communities with the HOA fees that cover, the pool, the maintenance, security, stuff like that. It's not super common throughout most of Miami-Dade, but there are some neighborhoods throughout the city that have that type of living, and with that will come an HOA fee. Also, for the maintenance on these condominiums, the maintenance fees really vary based on the overall management and style of how that building is being managed throughout the years. Also, if there's reserves or not reserves. Also, if the building's on the beach directly on the ocean, has more wear and tear than possibly a building that's on the mainland. But these buildings, we are in the tropics. We are where there's a lot of salt water, wind, sometimes very bad storms. So you always have to have some extra money on the side to prepare for future expenses, because these buildings have to have ongoing work all the time. And if the building is not collecting enough maintenance fees, I can guarantee you at some point they will have to, in order to do the work, because the city mandates a lot of these buildings to have certain certifications throughout the building's age or years. Next, insurance. Insurance can really be tricky based on several different things. I always say plumbing, electrical, HVAC system, impact stuff, and roofs. So the more of those types of things that are already done on a property, usually the better the cost of insurance will be, just depending on if all of those things have been done correctly and permitted and all of that. So that's something to know and definitely look out for. Flood insurance, listen, flood insurance can be, if you're in a non-flood zone, if you want insurance, can be, $500 a year. It can be tens of thousands of dollars. This is for single family homes. I'm not necessarily talking about condominiums. So just know, flood insurance can be expensive depending on the type of property, the elevation of that property, the survey, and lots of other details to know. And then also property taxes. If you are concerned about property taxes, just know that the current owner who's paying those property taxes, that will not be what your taxes will be. So when you see property taxes online and you create that as your idea about how much the property taxes will be, don't use that. Go to Miami-Dade or Broward and Google Miami-Dade Property Tax Appraiser's Office and put in the property and do an estimate based on you and your intended use of the property and the property at that time. Most of the time, property taxes definitely increase after that first year of ownership, because taxes get reset based on your new purchase. Okay, that was a lot. I hope you found this helpful. We are always here to be a resource for you. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to us. All of our information is in that information box. Call, text, email. Happy to answer questions for you. And I think that's it for today, and we'll see you soon.